What's up, and welcome back to the Kind of Funny Gamescast for Friday the 13th.
Ooh.
Dun, dun, dun.
2024. Of course, I'm your host, Tim Geddes. I'm joined today by Blessing Adeoye Jr.
Good day, Tim.
Snowbike Mike.
Good morning, Tim.
Greg Miller.
I wish I could say it was a good day. Justice is being railroaded. I have a lot to say, and I first want to applaud Andy Cortez, who is protesting this farce of a fantasy critic. Thank you.
Yeah, Andy Cortez will be joining us. He's just running
protesting
a little late.
the farce of a fantasy critic.
Or did he forget that Gamescast was first today?
You know, it's one or the other. Gamescast is happening before Games Daily today for a very important reason. I got a craving. Bless.
Wow.
I'm craving the hunt, okay? We're about to go watch Craven the Hunter, Greg. That might bring your day up just a little bit. Your mom's going to come hang out with us. A lot of joy, a lot of laughter, good times to be had. We'll cheer him up. We'll cheer him up somehow.
I think it's pretty cool.
Up my sweet.
I like that the team is going out to see Craven together.
Let's just talk about the failure of leadership from the top.
Oh, okay, from the tippy top.
If you were even worth half your fucking weight as a CEO, Tim, you would say, we're canceling everything today and just streaming Helldivers. But instead, you're like, let's do this game. Let's call the fantasy. The votes haven't even been counted yet for Fantasy Critic, all right? We are still waiting on so many people to file their reviews. You're like, let's call it. Let's give out the trophy. Oh, I'm the CEO. I can do whatever I want. And then you're like, all right, cool. On top of that, arguably second place game of the year, Helldivers, maybe first place. There drops new content last night. You're like, let's go watch Craven. Let's go watch Craven.
It's almost like we have a thing we do here, Bless, called In Review, where we rank, review, and recap all the movies in the franchise. And we've been doing this for years at this point. You know what I mean?
I know what you mean.
I'm just going to throw it all away just because Greg's upset.
Also, Greg manages the Gamescast calendar.
I know. I don't even know why we're doing this today.
I don't know why we're doing this today either.
But I'm happy we are, everybody, because this is the Kind of Funny Gamescast. Each and every weekday, we get together to talk about all of the biggest things in video games. For a chance to be part of the show, submit your thoughts and opinions as YouTube Super Chats as we go. A little housekeeping for you, like I was saying. We're doing the Gamescast early today. The boys are still going to do Games Daily after this, but we need to go watch them.
We got to go watch Craven.
We got to go watch
Craven. See the first showing of Craven today. That's what we have to do with our Friday.
So we're going to go watch the movie and then come back. And if you're a Kind of Funny member, you're going to be able to watch our In Review live as we record it. I'm sure it's going to be a good one because we're going to be hot coming out of that theater. What will you have to say? Will it be the best of the Sony Pictures universe of Spider-Man characters movies or the worst? I don't think there'll be any.
That's competition. That's some competition right there.
Ma, did you ever see Madam Web? Venom 2, Venom Last Dance.
Said no to all
Her
of them.
opinion is going to be really good on this one.
Yep.
Imagine this is where you start the cinematic journey. Oh, wait, Morbius? No, that's a no.
No, no Morbius, everybody. The stream will be Fortnite. Anything more you want to say about that, Mike?
Yeah, the Fortnite crew is back, ballistic mode. We are holding out on Helldivers because, of course, our fearless leader will not be there, Tim. So me, Joey, Kevin, we'll jump into Fortnite. We're going to bring it back to 2017.
Oh, okay. I thought you were saying that we're playing ballistic mode because I was going to cancel my plans and come join.
Another fantastic
We're going to cancel
game.
plans. Blessing will join us. We'll make it happen.
But Tim's like, oh, we got to make these shows. We promised these shows. God forbid we just say, you know what, snow day. When Tim said, Greg...
You know what? We should.
Greg, I know you have it all at IGN, but why don't you quit? Why don't you quit and then try to support Nick Scarpino for 2 decades? And I said, I don't know about that. He said, whenever you want to, you can cash in snow days and we can just play games all day long. He said that. Did you say that?
That
you
sounds
said
like a direct
that.
quote.
That does sound like something you would say.
Sounds like something Tim Geddes would
2
say.
decades.
Well, I'm halfway there. You know?
Thank you to our Patreon producers, Carl Jacobs and Delaney Twining. Today, we are brought to you by Still Wakes the Deep and Aura Frames, but I'll tell you about that later. Let's get into it. The topic of the show. It's Fantasy Critic time. We've done a whole year of this. It's time to crown the winner. But before we do that, actually, I just want to give a shout out to this entire crew. Shout out to Barrett. Shout out to Roger, who's not here right now, but I'm sure he's watching. Last night was one of my favorite Kind of Funny nights of all time.
100%.
What an amazing show. Great time hanging out with everybody. And it was such a rare thing of having the whole crew able to react to the Game Awards. Normally, Bless and Greg are gone. Not only was it a great show, great time hanging out with everybody. Amazing job from the entire team. Roger clipping out like no one's business. The set looked better than it's ever looked.
Yeah.
Barrett with the time codes and just the overall perfection of running the shows last night. Incredible stuff. So Round of applause for Kind of Funny.
So many time codes.
Incredible stuff. Incredible stuff. I feel like it's just important because, like, I mean, already I saw the video has like 150,000 views, which is awesome. So thank you guys for watching.
And I decided this year to do something different. Look at Greg talking shit about my time codes. I time coded the world premieres as world premieres and not what the games were. So if that was the first time people were watching the Game Awards, they could still be surprised by things.
Also, shout for you. Yeah. Also, shout out to Barrett. He's looking great in that insert coin shirt. That's great. That Persona shirt, right? Yeah, looks great on you.
Yeah. Can I give a shout out as well?
Go for it, Mike.
I'd love to give a shout out. There was a man on this panel that saw the future.
Sorry, I didn't see this coming.
Indiana Jones, Todd Howard, Troy Baker, and then the only actual Harrison Ford showing up on stage. How could Greg Miller know that?
You're too good to me, my Helldiver.
When am I going to get my flowers for the Naughty Dog new IP prediction that you all doubted me
for sure? Thank you. There it is. Please welcome to the Game Awards, the star of Indiana Jones and the Great Circle, Troy Baker. And the star of the Indiana Jones films franchise, Harrison Ford. Clap, 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 clap.
Oh, I mean, I'll definitely let you keep that.
Thank you very much.
Please join me in welcoming Bethesda's Todd Howard and actor Troy Baker.
Close.
They do give an award for best indie game, and I think everybody here can agree you make a great case for best indie performance.
Now is where Harrison Ford comes in.
Thank you.
There was another guy though.
Look at Tim.
Our eye contact here is so good.
Absolutely.
I wonder what he thinks.
And here I go. Oh, is it going to be a video message? And then I see the feet and I flip.
Right there.
Fucking called it! Who is the goddamn fucking king of calling shit for the fucking Game Awards? I'll tell you who. Trending Gamer 2015. That's who can fucking call a Game Awards. Like Fantasy Critic winner 2023 as well.
Who do you know, Greg?
Who do you know?
Who do you know?
What do you know?
People in chat said blessing. Everybody guessed the Naughty Dog new IP. It was a 1v3 on the Gamescast prediction episodes when I was talking about this thing.
Blessing last
Greg
night.
it was. It 1000% was.
Blessing.
Everybody was
last
against
night,
me. Greg
3 to 4 of your wildest
Indiana
dream
Jones
games
2 days
came
after
true.
the game came out.
Just give me this.
Of
all
course
right?
Harrison Ford's going to be there.
Today in Fantasy
Of course Harrison Ford's going to be there. The game just came out with his likeness.
He hates going places, though.
But he knew.
Somebody make the Gamescast clip for Blessing so he can see.
Thank you.
Okay?
Damn.
Enough about
Not to mention that's probably just one somebody put in his chat.
Watch the VOD. Who's there already? Who's in the doc?
We've been doing this damn thing.
Grave.
The Fantasy Critics. We've been doing it for a couple years now.
Yeah.
This year, we all got together about a year ago, drafting games, putting them on a list, putting them on our little teams. I was
going to say, you don't understand what Fantasy Critic is, do you?
Okay. But Greg, you want to take this?
Sure, we love Fantasy Critic here. Of course, you should go play fantasycritic.games. You can play with your friends. The idea is it's like fantasy sports, which I know not everyone is familiar with, but it's simple. Stick with me. You go through with your friends, you have your own teams. You then, of course, come in and draft video games for that year that are coming out. You can start whenever, I do believe, but obviously you want to start at the beginning of the year like we will next month. You go in, you draft a certain amount of teams, then you have a leftover budget. You can then use that money to bid on games as they get announced throughout the year or right away if you wanted to. You assemble your squad, then as reviews go through, the open critic score is then used to either give you points or take away points. Every point above 70 every point above 70 you get a point. As you get higher, you start doubling points, but we don't have to worry about that. Every point below 70, you lose a point. There's also counter picks where you go, Tim drafted this game. You need a counter pick at the draft, so I think that Tim game he picked is going to actually do bad or not as well as the others. I'm picking that, and then for every point that one would be above 70, you lose a point. Every point below 70, you'd get a point for your counter pick. Then you get to the end of the year when all the games are done and it's said, and all the reviews are in. This is important. All the reviews are in. You are not still waiting on a score that could change. GameSpot, Tamor Hussein. I don't know what's going on over there.
Call him.
I mean, do you want the GameSpot review of Marvel Rivals? Like, you're asking for reviews?
Barrett. You and I see eye to eye all the time, and you know that, all right?
CEO Junior.
That's what I like to see. You know what I mean? I don't mind losing when it's fair, but this is a rigged fantasy critic.
Do you want to talk about rigged fantasy
This is a rigged fantasy critic is all I'm saying. Like, we just haven't counted all the scores yet.
So, actually, before you call him, like, let's give some context to why you'd even be calling him. Because
I'm the champion from last year.
And I'm the champion from this year, everybody.
No. Put an asterisk next to that, all right?
I don't know, man.
Put an asterisk.
I don't know.
Listen.
Here we are.
Listen.
Points.
Yeah, knock over your water.
Tim, 146.63 in first place. Greg, 142.77 in second place. You're 4 points below me, Greg.
It really feels like Marvel Rivals should have an 8 and a 0 as that Open Critic score.
So as Tim has called out here, we were coming down to the wire here. All the other games had been counted for everybody else and ourselves. And it came down to Indiana Jones for Tim, Marvel Rivals for me. As you all know, everybody in the video game industry got kicked in the head and suddenly thinks Indiana Jones is a 9. I don't know what's happening out there. You know what I mean?
It's a great game.
You know what, Barrett? We see eye to eye all the time. 8s, I got no problem with. 9s, game of the year, best thing you played. That's when I start going, what's wrong with you, Lucy James? You know what I mean? Is there lead in your water that I didn't know about? You know what I mean? Thank God I'm not living in that house anymore. I digress. Tim's got a bunch of points off of that, right? Which gives him a lead right now at 147 is where Tim is on the fantasy points, right? Below him is me at 143. This has been mine. I've been out in front for a while, and it's seemed like, Greg's there. Barrett seemed like a threat. Tim, we're going to get into the airing grievances on this one, all right?
Yeah,
I know you got issues too. I know you got issues too, all right?
I just want to let everyone know I have no issues.
I want to give a big shout out again to Andy Cortez, who I know fuming about this, so mad he couldn't come into work because he said it's an injustice to Greg Miller, my hero, the man I based my entire life on, the man who is the whole reason I Twitch stream, and I should probably give him and his company that revenue. I stand down.
Or you just slept in a little bit.
Because he was so distraught, tossing and turning last night. I mean, Barrett, not everybody is like you, all right? When there's a miscarriage of justice, they can just roll over and ignore it, all right? All right? There's a miscarriage of video game justice happening right now. We were on the highest of highs last night, and here we are in court right now.
I'm just happy.
God damn, everybody. Why is God? This is so tough, and I'm tired. I gotta watch Craven.
My favorite thing about all this is, like, legitimately, we don't need to do this episode today.
Greg scheduled this episode
just
today.
so he can do this. Like, Greg is a monster.
And also, Greg is like taking up grievance with himself right now. I'm
because
actually on Greg's side.
Marvel Rivals should be this low. All right. A 76 on Open Critic, and you go there and you start going. Why were we doing it here? I run a tight ship when I schedule all the game's content here,
Very
okay?
tight.
And I put it here for a very specific reason, so that next week I could rub it in all y'all's faces on every one of the shows that I was the champion. But what now? I gotta say no, and we gotta wait. We gotta asterisks. We gotta talk about this, all right? And we gotta go talk to one man.
As commissioner of this whole thing, because I was never consulted about any of this, I'm not taking the final scores until the end of the year.
Wow.
Which sounds right.
Yeah.
I am also on
until
that
here's the thing, you're still going to lose. Like, I do think that Marvel Rivals isn't going to get you enough points to get you above Tim. So I do think that this episode is going to be the
Tim can take the trophy today. Again, with all due respect, you know what I mean? With all due respect.
I think Tim's won it. You know,
with all due respect, Commissioner, I've never gone against you. You've always been good to me. Always been good to me. You know that.
Sometimes too good. You know,
Starfield.
I know what you did last year.
Starfield. What a trade that was. Tim, I legitimately have no bones to pick with you. All right? My issue comes down to one man. All right? And that man I have never met, but his name is Josh Broadwell. All right? Now, he reviewed this in Games Radar Plus. Now, you want to talk about ghosts of my past haunting me from this year. Remember the whole thing when I stumbled upon the biggest story of all time, that Games Radar changed their name to Games Radar Plus like 15 years ago, and nobody knew until it fucking got called out by VGC and Jordan Midler. Josh Broadwell has personally fucked me. All right? That's what you need to know is going on. You go to the Open Critic, where GameSpot has not weighed in, where so many other people are probably still they're having so much fun. They're having so much fun over there.
That's what it is.
For the record, Greg played 2 minutes of Marvel Rivals and bounced off.
I uninstalled it right away. I'm not for the record. This game ain't
mad about a 2.5 out of 5
I'm just letting you know. But look at these scores. Simon Cardy, a man who I think is like so picture perfect for current IGN. Just vapid. Not a good thought in his head. Simon Cardy says 8 out of 10, right? Game Rant, 9 out of 10. Then you go down to what do you got? Gaming Bolt, 8 out of 10. God damn, these are some good scores. Outer Haven Productions, right? 4 out of 5. You go here. Spazio Games, 6.5 out of 10. Respectable.
Name anything else any of these outlets do. Like when
they review video games.
Have you heard of the Outer Haven Productions before
IGN
this
Spain
moment?
says 8 out of 10.
You didn't know there was an IGN Spain. You worked at IGN.
I know that. Get out of here. All right. Alt Char. Every time I'm like, I need to know about Alt Char. I go to Alt Char. They're giving it 95 out of 100.
You got to know about Alt Char.
Then we got Josh Broadwell. Games Radar Plus. 2.5 out of 5. That means it's a 50 out of 10, 50 out of 100. That's what Metacritic is seeing when they do this to me.
You think
it's all on Josh?
You think out of all of these reviews that were given, it was the 2.5 out of 5 review to bring it down?
100%. If Josh would have not been so selfish, all right? If he would have not been so selfish. Because here,
it might have gone up to like 78, maybe.
Let's read Josh's verdict, all right? Very well written. It's a great review. Marvel Rivals wants to reinvent the hero shooter genre with its complex characters and special synergies. But it's so preoccupied with trying to be like Overwatch that it forgets to play to its own strengths. Its oversized roster also needs more balancing and more differentiation from Blizzard's stable of heroes. So well written. Totally great review. Just fucking play ball, Josh. You know what I mean? Like, come on. You know, Open Critic's gonna look at that, say it's a 50? A 50? Throw this game. It's trying to be Overwatch. I played it for 2 seconds. I'm like, I don't like this game. I don't like this game. You know what I mean? But I wouldn't say, oh man, 50 out of 100. You know what I mean? Very well written review, Josh, but fuck you.
So here we are, where we have the reviews.
What a surprise. God. What a surprise. Another one of these so-called video game journalists sinking to personal attacks.
Oh my God.
I get a DM. I'm just out here doing my job. DM. Simon Cardi DMs me. You're vapid, you big fuck. Listen here, Cardi, all right? I'm getting fired up, everybody, all right?
Big fuck is hilarious.
Cardi, do me a favor, all right? Go boil some more cabbage in your hovel where you're living in Hobbitland over there in London, all right? Nobody's got time for this.
Fuck. And you type that in the British accent, too. That's hilarious.
Okay,
Damn.
So Marvel Rivals does have enough reviews to make the cut to get the scores on the freaking Open Critic, right?
That is correct.
But so it is December 13th, Friday the 13th.
Yeah.
Technically,
a day will live in infamy.
This Fantasy Critic doesn't end until the 31st.
Yeah, that's correct.
So are there other outlets that have not reviewed Marvel Rivals that might end up changing the score?
I mean, how many reviews are on there on the Open Critic right now?
Right now, 20.
That's a lot.
Yeah,
it's a good amount, especially for December, where people are going to start going on break very soon.
What do you need? Like, what does Greg need to get the win from Tim?
I appreciate you asking that question.
Yeah.
Can I get the one? Games Radar Plus. I need to retract this review.
I mean, what's the literal number is what I'm asking. What does...
Not what
if I'm being honest.
He needs 5 points.
I mean, you need 5 points.
4 points to tie. 5 to win.
I don't think you're getting that. I don't know if you're going to get that by the end of the year.
That's a lot of points.
That's a lot of points.
I know. Again, Josh Broadwell did me in.
Yeah. But wait, so GameSpot has not reviewed it, though.
Right. So if they came out and said, 10.
You want to call Tam? I think Tam's
I don't think GameSpot...
I don't think 110 would, drastically change.
You need,
I want to be very clear. I want to be very clear.
15.
I want to be very clear.
Like 4
I don't understand how Open Critic works. Because it says, top critic average. So are there non-top critics? Are you just a critic and your thing doesn't count?
I think any critic that is I guess registered with Open Critic is considered a top critic. I don't think they're picking and choosing.
But see, I click on it, and then it's like they have top critic stars, and then they have ones that are not top critic stars.
Oh.
And that's my problem.
Let me double check this.
Yeah,
Can we sit here with a straight face and talk about justice, objectivity, and fairness, and not be making Alt Char a starred review? They're not a starred review. I'll turn it. I'll take the anger wherever I need to. Open Critic. What's your problem with my boy Alt Char? Tom it over there, give it a 95 out of 100. Can we not? I'm sick of this Alt Char erasure. You know what I mean? Like they didn't do anything. Let them off the bench. Let Game Liner off the bench with their 4 out of 5. You know what I mean? Or again, simple way to fix this. Remove Games Radar's top critic. decide they're not a top critic. You know what I mean?
They have 2 lists of critics here. They have the top critics, which is a long list, right? I think all the names that you would think of are on the top critic list. But then they have another list that is critics included only in the % recommended score. And like honestly, I don't recognize any of these names. And so I think the top critic is what you're looking for anyway. Like,
but why those? Matt gives it a 9 out of 10. Not a top critic. You got to stop. And at some point, Tim, you know what I mean? You look around, you're like, thing's walking like a duck. It's eating bread off the ground. It's in the water. It's a fucking duck. So we need to talk about Open Critics' bias against Marvel rivals and why they're not letting people off the bench here. Okay. Xbox era, Jesse Norris. Oh, that's a 7.5. Actually, don't worry about that one. Don't worry about that. We don't need to get that. We don't need to make them a top critic. Eric Hodges, try hard guides, 10 out of 10. Not a top critic though. You know, Mike, what's going on over there? What does Josh Broadwell know?
It's a good question. I don't know. I don't know at all, Plus.
I don't know where we're going with this.
Can I get to the results?
So the results as of December 13th are I'm in first place. Greg is in second place. We got Mike in third place.
What?
I believe Barrett's in third. I'm 3 points
I
behind
hate this
Barrett.
fucking projected thing here, man.
Projected.
Yeah, you gotta go by
projected.
actual.
Yeah,
You gotta
sorry.
arrange by actual. You can click the thing. The arrow right next. There you go.
I think, yeah, we got it. Barrett's third. Mike is fourth.
Praise
When did that
Bless
happen?
is fifth.
Yeah, big shout out, of course, Open Critic and the team over here at Fantasy Critic. We changed the score for Path of Exile. We put the score in because a lot of people were saying it wasn't going to be
Blessing,
in.
we got to
Guess
fix
what?
early
It's
access
in.
stuff next year.
No.
That's
It's
insane.
in, baby. Yes.
I
Full
swear,
reviewing
I was
unfinished
fourth.
games as well, also insane.
I was fourth like 2 days ago, so that's crazy.
That
Damn.
changed.
Damn, you're
Good
fifth
job.
now.
That's what I like to
though.
see.
Thank
That's
you.
what I like to see. All right.
Thank you.
Andy
Let's
in
trade.
sixth, and Raj in seventh. And like, I don't want to talk shit, but like, Raj has 55 points.
Roger got lost this year. He got really lost.
Yeah.
Like,
it
that's
seems
a
like.
third of what I.
And Roger was maybe the person that was talking the most shit
Yeah.
about Fantasy Critic going into this. Like he was doing the studying, like he was doing a lot of research going
The
into
moment
it.
he chose Dragon's
That's what happens
Dogma
when you do your own
2
research
as
online.
his counter pick, you knew it was over.
Yes,
for
Dragon's
Roger.
Dogma 2 as a counter
That
pick
was
was a
the
big
moment.
mistake. Metroid Prime 4 Beyond was a mistake. Mina the Hollower, Hyper Lightbreaker, both of those fucked him for
Yeah, a lot of
by
games
not
just
coming
didn't
out.
come out.
I don't know what he thought.
And like, but also a lot of his games that did come out, like even if he didn't counterpick Dragon's Dogma, he would still only have like 72 points at the end of the day. It's just a lot of his games.
Yeah,
just
I don't know
didn't
what he
review
saw in
great.
like Locomotive to pick it for like a Fantasy Critic thing.
Yeah.
He was trying to go for the off the.
He was going for the sickos out there. He was going for
Yeah,
like those
the
weird,
specific.
super wild games that only a certain audience would be reviewing.
No
He was
rest
in
for
the
the
chat. And he
wicked.
said, "I didn't know the buttons."
Yeah, yeah, exactly. He did get fucked on No Rest for the Wicked.
No, yeah, that's kind of I feel
was
bad for him on that
unfortunate
one.
that game came out and like a lot of people held back their reviews as opposed to like me with
'Cause it was an
Hades
early
and Path
access
of
game and
Exile,
people-
where people were like, "Fuck it, let's just review this game." They're like, you know what? Actually, we're not ready to review this one.
Hindsight is 2020. Where being able to get Hades 2 and Path of Exile is
Huge.
kind of fucked.
I know, it's
that's
crazy.
kind of fucked up.
It's almost
That's
like
the
Baldur's
rules.
Gate
You
3.
just got to play by them.
Maybe we change the rules next year though.
I'm all considerate because yeah, that's kind of weird.
Commissioner's going to commission. I respect it.
That's what I do.
Yeah, let's look at everyone's list. And make
Yeah,
fun
go
of people.
team by
Yeah.
team, right? What happened?
Let's go next to Andy Cortez.
Who's sitting this out in protest, and I appreciate that.
He is sixth place in this completely unquestioned league, and here he is, everybody.
He made it.
Did I win?
Andy, I respect you so much
Yeah.
for sitting this out in protest. You know what I mean? I
episode.
appreciate you letting me have your time on the floor here to really let everyone know that there are some big problems at Open Critic. There's a Marvel rival bias.
Miscarriage of justice.
Exactly. That's what we've been saying right here.
You were saying that too.
And
Damn.
then you got Tim over here just pushing it through today. You know what I mean? He won't let me delay it. He won't let me play Helldivers. What do you want me to do today? What do you want me to do, Tim?
It's Friday the 13th. You know,
Yeah,
A lot of problems.
I got
omens.
cursed this morning.
Andy, is there anything you want to say about your games?
I mean, okay, though. You know, I don't want to call out this Josh guy.
Real quick too. I know sometimes I'm being serious.
It's part of the bit.
No, yeah. Tim just did the face where he's like, he's not sure if I'm going serious
Yeah.
or even crazier. I always like to, you know, I don't like breaking kayfabe. I reached out to Josh this morning, who I have not met before, and DM'd with him. I was like, hey, do you care if he's like, no, that's hilarious. Go for it. So Josh did a great review. Obviously, his review's great. Obviously, you should stand. I'm going to go back into character now. Fuck Josh.
I had a similar Josh on Angerfoot for me. It was a lot of eights, a lot of a lot of eights, couple nines, and there was like 1 5, and that really, really broke me. Otherwise, for somebody who was not understanding the rules mid-season, and then Barrett calling me out for not understanding the rule, and me not understanding.
What was the problem? You dropped Space Marine 2 for some reason, and then picked it back up.
And even when that happened, I didn't understand why that was something to laugh at until 5 weeks later when somebody was like, well, no, you don't have any jobs because you dropped Space Marine 2. I was like, oh, that's why Barrett was making fun of me for that. Like, I didn't understand the whole concept there. Also, Skate Story fucked me,
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
You got to come out, Skate Story.
You got to come out.
You got to release.
You got to just release your game. It's unbelievable. Also kind of shocked that Brothers, A Tale of Two Sons had that low of a score when the original was already kind of like hovering around the 83-point area.
Yeah.
I was like, all right, well, a better looking version of the original.
Yeah, but
we'll
things
surely
have changed, right? Things have changed.
Yeah.
Got an 81.
Kind of a bummer. Yeah, Brother Tale of Two Sons. But aside from that, Star Wars Outlaws, that was one that
I called it.
That was just a Hail Mary that just didn't work for me.
That's his second round pick, right? And if you rewind to the start of the year, you didn't know it was going to. If you were like Star Wars Outlaws, you'd be like, oh, yeah, like that's got to be an 80. 75, that's a tough pick.
I didn't know it was going to be as disastrous as it was.
It was my counter pick.
And I talked you into it, and I wish I didn't. I wish I had counterpicked it.
Yeah.
Stalker 2 only with 5 points. That's a tough pick, too.
Yeah, really thought, but, it's a war zone over there. I should have known. They're going through some tough stuff. And
well, that's another heartbreaker because that is such a great example of this year, right? Of like, that is such a standout of why did you have us review this then, right? Because it was by the time it got out, everybody's response, it seemed to our review and so many other reviews was like, oh, it's not a problem for me. Day one patch fixed everything for me. And like you guys who were reviewing got like, what, it was something like 20 some hours with the day one patch. Like that was stupid because that's what this ends with.
Yeah.
And I didn't know the senseless war was going to escalate either.
Of course.
I wasn't aware of the geopolitical sort of point of our nation and our world. So that one definitely kind of hurt me a little bit as well. But otherwise, I'm pretty proud of myself for
Me too,
not
Abby.
being last place. Like the fact that I'm in triple digits.
Well, that rounds up. You're technically 99.7, so
Nice. Nice.
3 digits.
I'll take it.
That's 4 digits.
That's huge for me. That's great for me. I love that. That's 5 digits actually. 99.4. That's 4. Yeah, you're right. Did.
Math's not easy.
Frostpunk. I was proud of that one.
yeah, that was a good pick.
Under Night in Birth 2, Sis Celeste. When I picked it, bless, I didn't know it was a fighting game. Just thought it was because I remember somebody commenting, "Man, Andy really repping for the fighting teams." I'm like, "Why? I just got Tekken 8," and it made a whole lot of sense to me when that game came out.
Tekken 8 was a huge pick, though.
Yeah, that was definitely. I mean, it was my first one, and I thought I would have had a lot more sleepers later on, and the sleepers ended up just being me coming in late for this show. So yeah, otherwise, I'm still proud of myself for not understanding the ruls until about like 2/3 of the way.
Excited and more confident for next year?
100%, absolutely.
That's what I love. I love Fantasy Critic. You see, there's a Patreon link. You should all support Fantasy Critic. I love it, and the thing about it is, even here and losing this close, like what a fun ride it's been, what a great conversation it's been, and I'm so then excited for January to go and draft a new one and start thinking about what I'm doing and try to fix what I did wrong last time.
I actually have looked at their Patreon, and it comes with a lot of cool features. One of those features is you can do a conference and get up to 20 people in one league.
Huh.
And I was thinking, I was like, man, I wonder if there's a way that I can do this. We don't employ enough people to do a 20-person Fantasy Critic, but I want to figure out some way to like do this, even if it's on my own time, because that sounds fucking fun.
Involve,
maybe like do
giant
like
bombs.
get giant bomb, get easy allies, get min-max in here. We each send our 5 top people.
Because this isn't Final Fantasy or Final Fantasy football. This isn't fantasy football, Mike, where an 8-person league is kind of pushing it, and you'll get like 12-person leagues where it's like my fucking third pick is a shitty wide receiver who's never going to get time. Like there's still a lot of good shit on the bench when we look at the game selections.
Totally.
And yeah, next year I feel a lot more confident because I really feel, Mike, like I spent my time out in the second half, And it's like at the end of the game, it's like if I still had that timeout, that would have been great. Yeah. And I would have dropped Skate Story and picked up some other shit, but I just wasn't afforded to me.
Would you also have not drafted and filled up your team
so fast
right after the first week that we drafted?
You did do an odd move there.
Yeah, well, I just didn't know.
Every year there's one.
This is my first year, and I was kind of just looking around and like, what are you all doing?
Sure.
And yeah, I just didn't really fully understand
That's
that.
always the hard thing of like you get out of that draft and that game you didn't draft but had been looking at is there and available, and you're like, well, do I spend the money? But you have to remember how much stuff is going to come out, but then you have to remember to be on it. Like the one that breaks my heart is, and I know we're getting a little bit ahead as we go through teams, but it was Astrobot, where Astrobot got announced, and I was like, fuck yeah, and I was so excited about it, but if just totally spaced on going in and making a bid.
Yep.
Meanwhile, I'm the prize. That was the one I'm like, I'm getting Astrobot.
That one breaks my heart.
Whatever it takes.
Because I had enough monies where I would have outbid anybody on Astrobot, and it just totally spaced on it.
I always think I'll be probably still the worst-ish at this game, like post-picking, right? Like, when we have that one draft, I'm sure I'll feel really confident, but throughout the rest of the year when it comes to, because I'm the dude who this game is not always on my mind.
Yeah.
So when a game comes out, I'll get excited, and then I'm the guy who misses out on the waiver wire picks.
I literally put it on my bookmarks tab at the top of my Google Chrome, just so I'd always see it and remember and be like, okay, keep this shit in mind.
That's good. I'll buy. You know what? I'll buy one of them. I'll just have a monitor in my room, always with it on.
Yeah. Next up, we have Snowbike Mike, who I think
we have me.
Yeah,
are we going by?
Yeah, we do. Let's go to Bless.
This shit breaks my heart, man. Because there are a few
contender.
What breaks my heart here is I'm looking at the choices I made, and I can see the reasoning, and it breaks my heart to see things just not pan out. Right? Flight Simulator. So for context,
pick number one.
My pick number one was Microsoft Flight Simulator 2024, with the idea that the previous Flight Simulator game, you go on OpenCritic, it has a 92 on OpenCritic.
Yeah.
So I thought that was an easy slam dunk.
At least 80.
At least 80. At least 90 was my hope.
Yeah.
And
this isn't your fault, Bless.
That's where I'm at.
Yeah.
You did nothing wrong.
I start breaking down crying.
You picked Patrick Mahomes as your quarterback, and he threw 4 interceptions. It's like, well, that's not.
Yeah.
I mean,
this is me picking Derrick Rose and him breaking his ankle again.
A D Rose shot.
Yeah.
I love that.
I mean, from Illinois. But yeah, Microsoft Flight Simulator fucked me. Going through it though, Black Myth Wukong, I think ended up being what it is. What it is. That got for context, Flight Simulator ended up getting a 76. Black Myth got an 82. I think I was hoping for higher, seeing the trailers and seeing how cool and innovative it looked. But it came out and it is. I should have expected this to be what it is, which is a really cool action game. But is the combat bad? No, it's not great. So yeah, that did what it did. Rise of the Ronin also disappointed me, and I think if I'm going by the history of Koei Tecmo, maybe I could have seen this coming, but I thought this was going to be the
PlayStation exclusive. We thought something different. Yeah. Yep. It's also ridiculous that Rise of the Ronin was this year.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
It does not feel like a 2024 game.
Grand Blue Fantasy Relink kind of did what I thought it was going to do. Got an 81. Pepper Grinder came in under what I thought that was going to be as well.
That should be an 85.
That got a 79. And that is the story of my Fantasy Critic team is I look at a lot of these and I'm like, you should have done better. Stellar Blade got an 82. That seems appropriate. Iron Chronicle, I thought would have been the one for the nerds. I thought that would have been the one for the JRPG siggos who love Suikoden.
Little sleeper hit.
That came in at a 76, which came way below what I thought I was going to do. Lorelei was a good pick. Got an 87. Eyes. SteamWorld Heist 2, good pick. Again, thought it was going to do better as a SteamWorld game.
That got you hyped up. That's what it was.
Yeah. But also, I know about the previous SteamWorld. SteamWorld Dig, people love those games, and those usually do really high on Metacritic. Neva did what I needed to do with an 87, and then Dragon Quest 3 HD 2D Remake was kind of my last Hail Mary of, man, I really need something to do over 90 here. Ended up doing 85, which is good, but just wasn't good enough.
Looking at this list, though, Bless, you put the work in.
Thank you.
I mean? This list shows somebody that was playing this game. It might not have been your best game, but you played it.
You had a big fourth quarter comeback, Bless.
That's what's always interesting about it, right? Is watching those top, 6 that we draft, and then the bottom half, right? And you see the blind picks with you from the draft, right? Where you don't have a lot of information, you're just hoping you want to get these big titles. You make educated, I think, smart choices, and then you really turn it on when it's here's something being announced late.
Yeah.
Lorelei and the Laser Eyes.
Here's a preview coming
Nobody would
out.
have drafted that. I don't even know if it's announced, but you know what I mean.
Yeah.
We wouldn't have been ready for that.
The next up, we have Mike in 4th place. And I feel there's an injustice with Mike when it comes to Marvel Rivals.
Oh, Tim, you know what? Marvel Rivals and I have a long story, a long history, but it turns out that I'm up and they're down. Okay, you know what I mean? We might have broke up. They broke. I'm up. Okay. Turns out I got the right pick. I'm
this is when your ex finds the next partner, and you're like, oh, I'm way better looking than that guy.
Got it. After the blunder, which was Elden Ring Shadow of the Erdtree pick, a lot of people remember that. Yeah. Maybe I wasn't there. I thought it. I was excited for it.
Yeah, of course.
I really messed up with Hollow Knight
this year.
Yeah, but I will say, if you look at my team, I actually think, I'll say it, I only have 4 misses, and the rest are very strong selections, right? 2 of those misses are games that did not come out, and then the other 2 are Final Fantasy DLC and Lego Horizon, which I'm very surprised only got 72. Really
Final Fantasy DLC was this year? Yeah. Holy shit.
If you look at Lego Horizon, you would have thought that should have been higher, but it did not get that. And Final Fantasy, that was the ending DLC. That was one of those where it's like, hey, they kind of already gave it their all. This is a smaller piece. Messed up on that. But I mean, I played the game very well on the back of early access titles that were red hot, like Hades 2 and Path of Exile. Also doubled down on DLC, of course, with Destiny 2, The Final Shape. I doubled down with World of Warcraft War Within. So yeah, I had some really strong picks here. If I didn't have a couple of games missing, I would be flying up in this ranking right now.
Yeah, I really feel for Mike because there's a lot of inspired choices here, and it really was just like the ones that miss. It's not like you were picking bad.
Yeah, thank you.
And also just looking at the score, and I know the motivation this year was like, maybe the rules kind of elude us every once in a while, Mike. But I was really pulling for you to be Barrett, and you couldn't do it. This is so close.
What the fuck? Why me?
It's because Barrett's a stickler for the rules, and Mike is a rule breaker.
I'm a rule breaker.
He was like, I really want to be Barrett. I just want to talk shit to him.
Hades 2 with a 90, anyway. Massive. Dragon's Dogma 2 that came through with 17. Plucky Squire with 12. I was very happy with. World of Warcraft, The War Within with 15. Little Guardsman with 14. Shout out to that great game. Destiny 2, The Final Shape with 22 points.
Amazing.
Wow. Come on. That was a fantastic
Would
end.
you be interested in trading Destiny 2 for Marvel Rivals? Get it back on your team.
I will gladly send that over to you to make sure that
I've already sent it in if you want to approve it.
I'll approve that. Final Fantasy let me down, like I said. Lego Horizon really let me down. And then Path of Exile. 3 days ago, if you asked this panel, it was going to be, Mike's not going to get the points for that. And then boom. I woke up this morning, I typed in OpenCritic, and I had a big smile on my face, Tim. I was like, yeah, I'm up right now. And so I've taken 4th place this year. I'm very proud of myself. Hollow Knight Silk Song, I'll put the clown nose on. I really thought you were going to pull me through on that one.
That, again, is another It's got to happen. Yeah. It's got to happen.
And I did it because Andy's my best friend. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
I only know that game because of Andy. Yeah. I believed in that game because of Andy. Andy didn't let me down. That team let me down.
It seemed more and more true as we went throughout the year. Yeah. We had that one ESRB listing in Korea or something. It's like, oh, wow, it's getting, things are happening. Xbox put it on their fucking flyer and it was like, in the next 12 months, these games will come out. And it's been 38 months or whatever. Like, what is going on, man?
Well, that was 2 years ago. And then also, didn't the team, like, right before our draft say, like, hey, this game is farther out than you think?
Superfluous.
Team Cherry said that?
I don't know if they said that verbatim. I think they said it's like not coming in the 12 months for sure.
Okay.
Maybe 13 months.
We're going to talk about the top 3 people in Fantasy Critic after a word from our sponsors. Still Wakes the Deep is a first-person narrative horror game from the genre masters at the Chinese Room. Featuring an all-star cast of Scottish actors, it combines grounded storytelling with unknowable horror for a truly unique and terrifying adventure. Set at Christmas 1975, you play as Kaz McCleary, a family man running from the police by taking a job on the Baradi oil rig. But the holiday cheer turns to festive fear as something incomprehensible comes aboard and starts wiping out everything in its path. With your escape routes cut off and no way to contact the mainland, your only hope is to run and hide as you make your way across the collapsing rig. Navigate pitch black corridors, crawl through tight underwater spaces, and try not to make a sound during tense stealth sections. Whatever you are afraid of, Still Wakes the Deep has something that will freak you out. To celebrate the festive season, Still Wakes the Deep is currently 35% off on Xbox Series X and S and PlayStation 5. Buy today and add some horror to your holidays. This episode's brought to you by Aura Frames. Isn't it funny how the people we love most are often the hardest to shop for? Luckily, there's one gift that everyone on your list is sure to enjoy, an Aura digital picture frame. Aura frames make it incredibly easy to share unlimited photos and videos directly from your phone to the frame. And when you give an Aura frame as a gift, you can personalize and preload it with a thoughtful message and photos using the Aura app, making it an ideal present for long-distance loved ones. Greg, Kevin, and a ton of people at Kinda Funny are obsessed with their Aura frames. It takes about 2 minutes to set up a frame using the Aura app. That means you'll be able to easily add all the photos of the new memories that you will create this holiday season. Save on the perfect gift by visiting auraframes.com to get $35 off Aura's best-selling Carver Matte frames by using promo code KindaFunny at checkout. That's AURA frames.com, promo code KindaFunny. This deal is exclusive to listeners, so get yours now in time for the holidays. Terms and conditions apply. auraframes.com, promo code KindaFunny.
And we're back, and I want to go to the Super Chats, where, of course, Engine25 Reviews writes in and says, I apologize for giving Greg shit for Indy. By math, the average of provided scores for Rivals is 80.6, or 82.6 after they remove the 50. What the fuck? Wow. That's all I'm saying. Josh, this is a personal affront to me. Games Radar Plus, this is your chance to do the right thing. Retract the score. Or bump it up. Or Mike, approve the trade I sent you.
Oh, okay. The math be mathin' over there for
Greg. Can you trade if the score's already been out?
No.
Hey, it said I could propose the trade. I proposed the trade. Let's see what happens.
I am turn that off.
Look, I'm not trying to suck up to Greg here because he's my boss, and I blanked on this Gamescast. But I'm not trying to talk shit to Josh either. I just don't understand how you could give the game a 5 out of 10 when it is.
Whoa. Okay, stop. It's fun when Greg's doing it in character, and I appreciate the suck up thing, but then you got a little too serious with it. Like, remember, they're on the 2.5 scale. They're on stars. It's a different thing. So it wasn't a strict 5 out of 10. That is just how Metacritic/OpenCritic's going to interpret the score.
We need better interpreters.
You can still have a problem with the 2.5 out of 5.
I'm just like sticking up for Marvel Rivals because I
hear you. Josh's review is, like I said, very well written. I don't want to turn this into me actually, or any of us actually having beef.
Rainbow Six Extraction. Okay. Game deserved better on the scores.
God, you're so right, Mike.
Rainbow Six Extraction deserved better.
Game deserves better scores. Deserved better on the scores.
Yeah.
And that's what Marvel Rivals is today. When you go to OpenCritic, that should be an 80 minimum.
That was
the singular bad score.
The Rainbow Six Extraction.
We're not talking about any bad scores. We're just saying the number that me and Andy look at. That's all that matters to us.
That was the 2023 miscarriage of justice.
That was crazy.
Wait, how much do you like Rainbow Six Extraction? Why is that the example?
It's just he had it on the list. He kept on bringing it up, and I didn't know anything about Fantasy Critic. I was like, Mike, they're fucking you on this. Like this game is better than they're saying. You know. Wait, what did it get? Oh, it got a 72? That seems right.
No, that
seems accurate.
It was a 75 to 80.
God. In third place, we had Barrett Courtney. Again, another man that played the game very well.
Not well enough, but I'm proud of myself this year. I haven't done Fantasy Critic in a few years. But yeah, of my original draft, I think there was only one game that I dropped because Tim, you and I were on that Mario or Switch high, and we're like, let you draft. I think the Mario game that I drafted,
3D Mario platformer.
Kart. So I dropped Mario Kart, but all the other games from my original draft are still here, and that's mainly because Andy counterpicked Tales of the Shire, and once previews started coming out, and I was like, oh shit. I hope they delay it, and thank God they delayed it. And so, yeah, my original picks with Metaphor, Persona 3, Rise of the Golden Idol, and Unicorn Overlord, like, the story there is Trust and Atlas. They had a fucking fantastic year, and Rise of the Golden Idol, like, I wasn't invested in that game, and then, Blessing and I we're Golden Idol boys now, and that game's just, it kicks ass, and, yeah, I'm very happy about that. Thrasher is one I was hoping for a bit more from. That is the
Thumper.
That's the Thumper team, and it originally only came to MetaQuest, I believe. And then I think it's coming to PC and Steam later. But if I'm gonna if I have a grievance, is that maybe there's a couple of top certified reviewers on OpenCritic who had reviews of Thrasher that would have given more points to Thrasher. That maybe I was submitting to OpenCritic and then they never like accepted, some of those reviews. So I feel like Thrasher would have gotten.
I feel like these are all commissioner responsibilities.
Yeah. It seems like
I'm in their Discord.
Are you in reviews?
Well, you're not a commissioner of OpenCritic. This is specifically for the OpenCritic site.
Oh, I see. I see.
Where there was a couple of outlets who had reviewed Thrasher, but for some reason weren't put onto the OpenCritic meta thing, and so I would have only gotten like 3 more points, I think, from it. But
man, I had no idea even what Barrett's argument was because I just don't like OpenCritic. Once Barrett was mentioned, no, there's some reviews that weren't put on. I'm like, oh, okay, that's what the rules are.
There were some nines from outlets who are usually on OpenCritic, but for whatever reason they weren't put on Thrashers, and so it would have gotten me a couple more points.
Why are you that deep in the game? God damn!
Because I was looking to fucking win, Blessing. I was looking to win.
You're like, why is this review
You say the
counted?
word, Barrett. You say the word, Mike. You're with me, Andy, because you being late to work. You're with you. We go storm the offices of OpenCritic. All right, we demand justice.
I'll bring the zip ties.
Yeah, the big high rise they got downtown.
I feel like they work from home.
And that was coming out in a time where I thought there was still a real shot there, right? Shout out to Janichoa, who talked so much about Balatro when it had a demo early on in the year, so I picked that up.
And this is something we were talking about earlier. This should be banned. Again, Barrett was using inside sources, to get information about it.
I listened to a podcast about a demo.
Just saying. It seems like, we had a bunch of rules that if we had a review code, we couldn't do anything about it.
It's a great point.
Barrett's just over here just listening. He's a rat in the wall.
Just listening.
Yeah. He's got the recorders in the Watergate.
Felt good about Nine Souls. That's also just a personal favorite of mine this year. Glad that it's got the review scores that it does. I personally would love to see it have a 90, but I know it doesn't work for everybody.
85.
See, and here's the thing: Dragon Age: The Veilguard. I feel like the previews that were coming out about Dragon Age, I was like 90 guaranteed, maybe high 80s. And the fact that I reviewed this low, I was like, man. Fucking Christ, that was a tough one. And then my 2 big blunders, Sandland and Alan Wake 2, The Lake House. And I was truly surprised by the reviews of Alan Wake 2. The way y'all were talking about those 2 DLCs, I really felt like the sickos were waiting for The Lake House specifically.
Yeah. That's the one that I feel you should be surprised by. Sandland, I don't. That's the one that looks. No, that's the one that sticks out like a sore thumb for me.
I'm not surprised by Sandland. I said Sandland is a blunder on my part.
Oh, no. I think I look at Alan Wake scores and I'm like 74. That's kind of surprising. I would have thought that'd be higher.
Yeah.
But Sandland on the list, I'm like, when that demo came out, I was like, this game kind of sucks. That's the one that I'm like, that's the one real bad choice where everything else is just
That's why I called it a blunder.
You should have won, man. You should have won. Sandland, take that out. I'll trade you right now, Barrett. I'll give you another game.
My 2 big blunders around the time that I was trying to looking at Sandland, I remember also thinking about Batman Arkham Shadow, I believe. And I was thinking about that, even though with my initial reaction, more for the Barrett Courtney brand of having a Batman game on my list. And then the other game that I was thinking of, instead of Alan Wake 2, The Lake House, that I was thinking about, honestly, for most of the year that I'm surprised nobody else picked up was Call of Duty. And those were just, I think those 2 decisions, if I had flipped them, that would have gotten me a guaranteed win. And so some bad choices in the second half of the year, but I'm at least right now proud to be in the top 3.
Do we know what Call of Duty's sitting at?
It's like an 83, so it would have gotten me, compared to Alan Wake, 9 more points, and then Arkham Shadow was at an 85, I believe, so that would have gotten me 11 more points compared to Sandland. So
I'm gonna try to pick that up.
That's good to keep in mind that Call of Duty, even this one, I would say is kind of regarded as one of the better ones, and it only got an 83, but that's still 13 points.
Yeah, no,
so,
haters. Yeah.
And then second place we have Greg Miller.
Hello, everybody. It's me, Greg Miller. Miscarriage of Justice. What's up? What a year. What a year for Fantasy Critic. This was a really fun one. I appreciated how much we were committed to it. Blessing and me have done it through PS I Love You, then through PS I Love You Xcast, then through we've done iterations of it, and it's cool to see people get more and more involved because it has been for some people set it and forget it and they never come back to it. So I had so much fun this year doing this, arguing about it, seeing what was going on with it. I'm sure you did.
I did.
Tim. You know what I mean? God, imagine saying that. He looks out his window drinking his LaCroix coffee for some reason. I did a coffee when I was drinking LaCroix. And he just sees me. Just injustice all over me. I'm waiting it and I'm rolling in it. You know what I mean? It's all over my chest. It's in my hair.
It's
really
Tim's
that's what I wanted. I had a good time.
It's the inaction, you know?
It really really is. You know what I mean? Stand for something or fall for everything.
2 snow days, everybody.
No, this was a really good one. Barrett was a threat the entire time. I will admit.
Funny content.
I will admit, I never thought Tim had a real chance when he had the Mario platformer on there. There was something else switched you had, or no? Did you not? Did you ever drop anything?
Yeah, I dropped. I made some bad calls.
And like that was the thing is early on, I kind of laughed you out of the room where I was like, okay, Tim. I was
gunning for second place the entire time.
There was this isn't the year, but there was the one year where you filled it all on the first day, right?
Yeah, that was the first time.
And so like I was expecting more of a performance like that out of you.
You gotta tell me those lessons, Tim.
You're on the shows. You're watching the shows.
But like, if you made that same mistake, you got to be like, "Hey, for the newbies, don't fill it all on the first day." You know, like you gotta come on.
I feel like we said
it's the inaction. You know,
inaction. You know what I mean?
You're watching a fucking kid, not being able to tie his shoes. You're not even teaching him.
It's like he's the frog from Frog and Toad, but he's just stepping on tadpoles. You know what I mean?
Whoa,
exactly.
I love Frog and Toad, man. Anyways, yeah. So I had a really strong draft. I thought Final Fantasy VII Rebirth 93, right? 25 points. That was immediately. That was so early in the year too, where it was like pow. I was out the gate, ready to go. Paper Mario 1000 Year Door gets me 19 points on an 89. Fuck yeah, let's go. Alan Wake 2 Night Springs 12 points. I honestly am a little shocked by it because it was one of those that I did my third pick in the draft, threw it down, and then it was like, should I drop that? Like DLC is always such a weird thing. It doesn't get reviewed by as many people. Are the sickos going to be there for it the Alan Wake way? Is blah blah blah. I when it got a 12 and then it was like, oh, the Lake House is still coming on Barrett's team. I was like, the Lake House might have been the right way to go because that's going to be more the Alan Wake 2 experience than this one, which was the goofy iterations Twilight Zone.
And it was the opposite.
Yeah,
that's
shocked by that. Like a Dragon, Infinite Wealth, of course. This is one that there was drama to a degree about. Where if we remember, we came in here and the rules this year where we will not pick anything we are reviewing or have a review code for or whatever. And Like a Dragon had come in 2 days before. But we had a conversation at the table where it was, I wasn't reviewing it and I only knew as much about it as before. Or we all knew as much about it. But still, you and Raj didn't feel comfortable.
It was the thing where it was back and forth because it was Like a Dragon, then also Tekken.
And also Persona.
And also Persona 3 Reload. And I think the conversation was like,
just because
the games were what they were, right? It's like I don't think us playing the games really swayed us as far as like these games are what you exactly.
And I wasn't playing it, not that it mattered.
Yeah, Mike had a point though with it.
I would have picked it, but
yeah.
I kept my mouth shut. I didn't pick it because I had the review code, so I held true to the bargain.
Yeah. He tried to double.
But we did talk. We did talk about it beforehand. We're like, all right, these games are on the table.
Yes,
I remember them making that decision.
I'm not so
sure
about
that.
Exactly. I don't know if I heard that.
Anyways, 20
we
points.
should really make it clear next time.
20 points for me on that one. I'm stoked about that. Vessel of Hatred, I thought was another gamble that paid off. Obviously I love Diablo, and that sometimes gets hard. Of like, I know that I love this thing and I'm gaga for it, but is it going to play for the people? And, 13 points off Vessel of Hatred, I was happy with. My thing with Fantasy Critic is I want double digits on every game. That's the goal on every game. I feel that puts you in a really good spot.
Consistency.
Yeah, right. So I was worried about it. Another Crab's Treasure, my first single point game, a 78, 8 points. This one,
I'm shocked by that.
I was shocked by but it really proves something, and I think we can look at just about every other list and find them. I think Pepper Grinder is another good analog too, is that indies are, I feel, so hard to put into these things. You look at this indie, it looks stunning, it looks cool, it's doing something different, and maybe it really resonates with you. You really like it, which was not the case with another Crab's Treasure. It was a Souls-like, right, which isn't my deal. I did play it and enjoy it, but I was like, I'm not going to be crazy for it. But what we had played at the GDC events and on our own streams, I was like, this is going to really fucking hit with those people. And to put it on only get 8 points, I was shocked. I really thought that was going to do better numbers than that.
Yeah, I think this is one where for indies, you kind of have to be sure. That's why I think Barrett made a good one with Balatro, where you heard the preview, like you've seen the game, like you understand what you're working with here. I feel like I made a similar thing with Pepper Grinder, where Pepper Grinder I picked because I also seen the game. I forget if that was. I forget if we saw gameplay before. Or no, that I picked it up later. So yes, I saw it at GDC. Yeah. Was like, oh, that looks cool. It's Devolver. Surely that's going to be good. But like, that's not enough. Like, you kind of have to be sure that this is a thing that is going to be a hit for the genre.
Yeah. I mean, I will say for the Balatro pickup, it was purely only because of listening to Giant Bomb. I had never seen gameplay, I didn't even know really what the game fucking was. That was truly a shot in the dark based off of two men's vibes on a podcast.
Nice.
From there, Banisher's Ghost of New Eden. Let's be honest, I dodged a fucking bullet here. I got 10 points off of that. I'm very lucky as somebody who is like, I'm enjoying myself. This game's too long. I'm going to stop playing it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, there's some of these you can look at, Greg, and you go, that's the developer's fault or that's the reviewer's fault.
Sure, like Josh's fault.
You would never blame yourself, yeah. Like Another Crap Treasure, that's the reviewer's fault, I would say. That's at least an 83 minimum. Banisher's Ghost of New Eden, that game's needs to be half as long. Like there is such an incredible game there, and the fact that while I was playing it and was loving it, people were telling me in the chat, oh yeah, it's 60, 70 hours long. Like, no, that's not what this should be.
That's not what I want.
It's such, like, legitimately, I was stunned by the performances and the story moments in my first, like, 7 hours with it, and then I was told how long it was. I was like, oof.
No, I don't like it this much. I'm not that invested in the story and where we're going. Then you get, another pick from the heart that paid off enough for me. Obviously, I didn't win, but I'm happy. WWE 2K24 getting 10 points. Like, I know wrestling games are wrestling games. How are they going to, blah, blah, but I, watched the tea leaves on this, done the previews for it. And like, they're putting a lot of cool shit in here. They already got a great base. They're adding on to it. It is the, 30 years of WrestleMania mode, 40 years of WrestleMania mode, whatever it was, of like, hey, there's all this stuff going on. Yeah, 40. And that's going to be cool. And it worked out to get 10 points. I'm happy with that, right? Like WWE 2K is not going to be an annual pick for me. That's not a guarantee, right? I thought this one specifically seemed like it was going to perform well based on nostalgia and where we were. And I think, when we get to my top 10 list and this getting on there, I think this is such a encapsulation of where WrestleMania 40 was, right? And what that energy was and Cody Roman and all that stuff, blah, blah. Critmaster, 78, 8 points. Another shocking one for me. This was one that I was at the GDC Awards, and they do the the Independent Game Awards before that. And when I saw this one go up there, I think they won maybe overall. I was like, and I looked at it, I was like, holy shit, this is amazing. And then we got it, and I played it and reviewed it for us, and I was like, this is so cool. I think 78 is not outrageous, is too far, but like, this is a game where I'm like, this is an 80, 81 at least. Like, this is so clever and so cool. A typing RPG where you're discovering all this, the performance, just so clever. And get saddled with the 78. I'm like,
I thought we were getting Inscription 2.0 with this one.
Yeah, exactly.
I thought this was going to be one of those, like, wow, here's this shocker 9 out of 10 that suddenly you need to play this year.
Critmaster is one you do need to play. I would definitely go and encourage everybody to pick that up and try it out. Then College Football 25, 81, 11 points off of that. Again, super happy with it. When we were doing one of the episodes, this is after draft one, I remember, I think it was you, Bear, right? We were going back and forth where you were like, I was like, I picked it and you're like, it's not going to even get double digits. And me and Mike were on it. And we were arguing, no, you don't understand. Like, it's been so long since the last college football. This is going to be something special. And
it barely got double digits.
First off, you lost. You're third place. You're far away. Don't worry.
I made you scared, though.
You were saying it would get 76 is what your argument was. I hate him. Anyways, though, I get back to it. This is another one where it's like this. I will not draft college football next year. I do not expect college football to get higher than this. I would imagine it would be lower. And then you have Marvel Rivals, as we've already said. A steal, a miscarriage of justice. We are not there yet on the scores. This is all Josh's fault, as the super chat pointed out with the actual stats of math.
Mm-hmm. Be mathing.
And then, of course, replaced where I counterpicked that, which I think might be my year 2 of counterpicking that. I think
that's good.
Yeah. Paris Lilly, I counterpicked last year on it, and I'm happy to counterpick again
I
here.
feel like it's always a reliable counterpick is replaced.
Marvel Rivals fans, stand down and stand by. You're going to wait for the scores.
And then next up is me with 147 points here. Woo! Currently winning. We'll see. We do have 2 weeks left. Thank you very much. But
Tam knows he doesn't want to work anymore this year. Nobody's reviewing this.
This is, honestly, Tim, this is like a lot of your game showdown wins where you will have a big victory even though you fucked up a decent amount. Like the fact that you don't have a game here with a score and you still have that, that's amazing.
All right, that's my thing is there was a couple choices I made that were bad. The main one was dropping Metal Gear Solid 3 Delta, whatever.
Yes.
I should have dropped mainline Mario platformer, and then they delayed Metal Gear, and then I would have had another pick. So I could have got even more points here.
Yeah.
So I definitely fucked that up. But next year I won't. I've learned. I am improving. Otherwise, a couple choices. I don't think I made any bad calls with the games. I do just think that there was a couple that I was really hoping more from. Princess Peach Showtime being one of them that I really believed in Nintendo for that.
Yeah, 5
really,
points
really,
off of that,
really dropped the ball. And Penny's Big Breakaway was such a shame. That game from the Sonic Mania team to some extent really should have been, I think, like a oh crap standout indie special platformer, and it was just pretty okay. I ended up going back to it later in the year, and I enjoyed it a lot more than I originally gave it credit for. But
I think it's a solid, good game, but it's not what you would think from that studio based off of coming off of Sonic Mania. I was looking forward to like a fucking hit.
Exactly. And yeah, so 77, I'm kind of there with Penny's Big Breakaway, but definitely wished we got more. I lucked out with Star Wars Outlaws as a counter pick. That was a bad call. I don't know why I did that. But only
it was a good call. I talked you into it.
Only losing 5 points. Like, hey, I'll take that. I'll take that. But yeah, a couple other, like, it's weird that I'm in first place with like things like 77 for Mario and Luigi Brothership. Like, I feel like I kind of just like low point added up.
Two decisions that brought you here, right? It's Elden Ring Shadow of the Erdtree is your first pick with 94 on Metacritic or OpenCritic, and then Astrobot.
Right?
But also don't count out, like, even though they're not 90s, but Animal Well and Indiana Jones and Silent Hill 2 Remake, which was one game that I was expecting to get like a 75.
Silent Hill 2 was my like the big Tim pick of like that. I was rolling the dice on that one and I lucked the hell out because it looked bad and then it ended up being amazing. So hell freaking yeah. And then yeah, Animal Well was another one that I just had such good vibes going into it.
What does that flag mean next to Silent Hill?
I assume
hover
remake.
over it. It has a little description.
We recently decided that this game is really more than a remake. It's a reimagining.
Okay.
So basically it's how they categorize
Got
it.
you.
Yeah.
So again, see, they can put notes on there and apologies if they want to put one on Marvel Rivals. Call out Josh.
But anyway, I had a lot of fun doing this year, and I feel like I did actively play it. I mean, you can even see in like the
you did great, Tim.
latter
You did
half of
great.
the list. Like I did play the game, and yeah, a lot of it's Nintendo games because I like Nintendo.
I mean, you know, it's somebody said in the chat it's already gone by, and I know we've talked about it too, but to win with a blank and with a minus is so impressive. But again, you made just such great calls with Erdtree, of course, being the number one pick, but Animal Well, right, getting you 19, then Astrobot for 29, Echoes of Wisdom for 15. Like, those are some great pickups.
But going second with the mainline 3D Mario platformer, like that was just playing a game. Like y'all got in my heads. You know what I mean?
Yep,
I'm just like why would I do that? That was silly. That was really silly. So yeah, I'm the winner, everybody. Fucking deal with it.
Give him the trophy.
Guess what?
Give him the
I won
trophy.
Fantasy Critic. I won Game Showdown Season 2.
Yeah.
And
Well,
Season
you know,
1.
if
year.
Mike remembered that I was, that I had him play for my team and he didn't blank out
Well,
on
me and Bruce
Showdown.
Green did win season 1. Roll the tape back.
Thank you. I appreciate it. I appreciate it, Greg. There we go. Barrett?
Two quick things. I just want, I accept the formal apology from all of you for clowning on me for drafting Metaphor as the first pick. And then also, people were saying earlier that Mike ran a tight ship on his team. Just a reminder that
One of the
he
best.
spent $75 to bid on Assassin's Creed Shadows, which then
I'm going to do it again next year because you know what? Barrett's competition. A lot of people don't understand that Barrett has a giant brain and he's always working. And sometimes you got to box out your competition to hold him back. And that's what I did.
I don't know if I want to.
You got to spend money to make money, Mike.
He was going to spend 55. I spent 65.
Giant
That's
brain
more
money
money.
hats.
Boxed out.
Mike, all I had was like
more money.
$15 left on my.
Yeah. Spend money to make money, Mike.
The show's not over, though, everybody. That was Fantasy Critic. There's one other competition that we need to talk about, and that is our Game Awards predictions. We all predicted who's going to win every single category of the Game
these
Awards.
these were the award predictions.
Yes, the award predictions. And I forgot the stipulation here, but something about a dunce hat.
Yeah, Bless, what did you come up with?
I forget. I think it was like you wear a sign that says I'm a loser if you're in last place.
Yeah.
Hope that doesn't come back to bite me.
It's a little complicated.
Not really.
It's a two-way tie.
Oh.
But the fact is, we just, of course, are pairing this with Fantasy Critic, right? So I would say whoever has the most Fantasy Critic points,
of
gets
course,
the extra point.
pairing
we
this
are.
with Fantasy
Of course
Critic.
we
Tied
are.
at first place with 16 correct predictions. It's me and Andy Cortez.
Come on.
Wow.
It's really like me and Tim won it all, you know?
Come
You
on.
can share that trophy.
And tied in last place,
Of course.
it's Blessing and Greg.
Well, what's the score?
15-15.
Oh,
We were very close.
I don't know why I picked Metaphor for Game of the Year. Like, that was a mistake.
Yeah.
That's where.
Wait,
that's
how
where.
many, Andy, did you get?
16.
Oh hell yeah!
Yeah, so we're one off. So we're all like right there. We're all
it was very
we're
close.
all pretty much
You're all
tied.
right there, but you're not there.
No,
though.
but we're all
You know
like
what I mean?
we're pretty much tied.
Pretty much, but like
we round
not
up.
though.
Yeah. What did Bear get? Oh, 19 out of the thing. Good, great job, Bert. So yeah, I would say since it's paired with Fantasy Critic, of course, I came in second there. That gives me a point. So Bless gets the dunce sign.
Now,
I think we both get it.
or we
No,
we're
we said we said the person. in
Yeah,
last
the
place
person who
gets
came in
signed.
last. So
Yeah.
since none of us came in last, technically.
Now,
Well,
if you want to
came
make
in
a
last,
really
so
big
two of you.
sweatshirt that says it, and we both have to get in the sweatshirt, I'm down for that.
Don't make me get that close to him.
Everybody, you want to play Truth or Dare?
Thank you so much for hanging out with us. We will do Fantasy Critic for 2025 starting in January. So
My redemption.
Get hyped for that. Right after this, we're going to do Kind of Funny Games Daily and then a Fortnite stream. And remember, a lot of us are going to go watch Kraven the Hunter right now. And then we're going to come back and review that movie.
If you got your membership, watch it live as we review it.
Please do. It's going to be an all-timer. I promise you. Until next time, though, I love you all. Bye.
I'm coming for you, Josh.